Welcome to Basket of Tales, a time travel into the world of stories.
Hello everyone, this is Miss V from Basket of Tales. As a part of Holiday Story Tales, I am here with another popular folk tale from Japan. This story is about a princess named Kaguya. She is the princess of the moon. Long ago, there lived an old bamboo woodcutter. He and his wife were very poor and sad because they had no children. Every day he went into the woods and cut down bamboo, which he would take home to make various household items which he sold for living. One morning, at work as usual, he discovered a bright light coming out of a bamboo stalk. "How mysterious," he said, and went closer. Carefully, he cut the bamboo stalk and revealed a tiny girl inside. "What a pretty little girl," the old man said, and took her back home. His wife was very excited. "She must be sent from heaven to be our child," they said. So, they brought her up with loving care, treating her like a treasure. After finding the tiny girl, the old man found gold in every bamboo he cut down. He soon became the richest man in the village. Years went by, and the bamboo child grew up to become a girl of a great beauty. People started to call her Kaguya Haim. It means the moon princess, because her skin was so bright and beautiful and she glowed like the daughter of the moon god. The news of the princess' loveliness spread far and wide. Men came to catch a glimpse of her beauty. Many became her suitors and they wished to marry her. Among those suitors were 5 men who stood outside the woodcutter's house day and night, in the sunshine and in rain. They were all noble knights and very rich. "Kaguya Haim is a child sent from heaven. I cannot let anyone marry her," the old man kept saying. But the suitors did not give up. Finally, the old man gave in and said to Kaguya, "I am an old man and my end may come at any time. Maybe it is time that you see these 5 suitors and choose one of them." Kaguya replied, "In that case, I shall marry the man who proves his love by bringing me something very special that I desire." So she sent word to the first knight asking him to bring her a stone bowl which has belonged to a Buddha in India. The second knight was asked to go to the mountain of Horai in the eastern sea, bring her a branch of tree growing on its summit. The tree trunk had a trunk of gold and its branches bore white jewels instead of fruit. The third knight was told to go to China to search for the fire rat and to bring back its skin. The fourth knight was told to search for the dragon that bore a stone of 5 colors on its head and bring it to her. The fifth knight was to find her a special swallow which carried a shell in its stomach. When they heard this, the knights were disheartened. But when they thought of the princess, the love in their hearts gave them strength. So they were determined to get what she desired. The first knight, not having the courage to go all the way to India, went to a nearby temple and took a stone bowl from the altar there. He wrapped it in a cloth of gold and brought it back to the Kaguya. But when she unwrapped the bowl, she said, "This cannot be the true bowl of Buddha, for it does not shine at all." Ashamed, the knight went home in despair. The second knight announced that he was setting out for Mount Horai. He set sail with no idea where the mountain was. So he returned secretly and paid skilled jewelers to make a gold branch with fruits of white jewels. This was so perfectly made that Kaguya almost believed it was real. But the jewelers who had made the branch arrived at the house and asked to be paid for their work, for the knight had not paid them anything. So, in this way, the knight's deception was discovered and he too had to depart from the home in despair. The third knight had a friend in China already, so instead of going there himself, he asked his friend to obtain the skin of the fire rat for him. The friend brought the skin to the knight, who paid him a large sum of money. He brought the fire rat skin to Kaguya. "First, I must put the skin to the test by putting it into the fire. If it is the real thing, it will not burn," said Kaguya. But when she threw it onto the fire, the skin crackled and immediately burned up. The knight was very angry and blamed his friend for deceiving him. The fourth knight hired a ship and he commanded the captain to set sail in search of the dragon. But after they had been traveling for only a few days, they encountered a great storm which lasted so long that by the time it was over, the knight had lost heart. Eventually, they made it safely back to shore. Exhausted by his dangerous journey, the knight gave up the hunt for the dragon. The fifth knight was confident of accomplishing his task, for there were swallow nests everywhere. One nest was found just under the roof of the emperor's palace. So the knight ordered his servants to build poles right up to the roof, and from these poles they swung a big basket on the rope. The knight climbed into the basket and told them to pull on the rope, raising it to the roof. "There it is, I have found the shell," he shouted. The servants let the basket down in such a hurry that it tipped over and the knight tumbled out onto the ground. When he opened his hand to make sure he had the shell safely inside, he saw only a small pile of bird droppings. Over time, rumors of her beauty reached the ear of the emperor himself. The emperor invited Kaguya to court to meet her, but to his surprise, she refused, claiming that she would die if she stepped on such a splendid palace. So, the emperor decided to go check the rumors himself. It said that he only got to see her a second before she covered her face, but the second was enough for him to fall in love with her. Kaguya became very angry and told the emperor that if he saw her again or forced her to marry him, she would become a shadow and disappear forever. Kaguya's parents noticed that night after night she would sit on her balcony and gaze sadly at the moon for hours, always ending in tears. One summer night, the old man found her weeping as if her heart was broken, and he asked the reason for her sorrow. Through her tears, she told him that she did not belong to this world. In fact, she had come from the moon and soon her time on earth would be over. On the 15th day of the very month of August, her friends from the moon would come to fetch her and she would have to return. The old man went to see the emperor and pleaded with him to do all he could to prevent Kaguya from being taken back to the moon. On the 15th day of that month, the emperor sent 2,000 warriors to guard the house. 1,000 warriors stood on the roof and the remaining 1,000 kept watch around the entrances of the house. All were trained archers with bows and arrows. The bamboo cutter and his wife held Kaguya in the inner room. The night wore on. The yellow harvest moon rose high in the sky, flooding the sleeping world with its golden light. Suddenly, he saw a cloud form around the moon, and as they watched, the cloud came closer and closer to the earth. As it came near, everyone saw that it was coming towards the house. In the middle of the cloud, there were a winged chariot surrounded by a shining light. The warriors in the village hurriedly tried to load arrows into the bow, but somehow they had become paralyzed and could not move a muscle. Then they heard a clear voice speaking from heaven. "Thank you for taking care of the princess, but the time has come for Kaguya Haim to return the moon." At these words, the screen doors of Kaguya Haim's room slid open of their own, and the princess stood up to leave. She walked out of the house and looked back at the old man. She said, "It is time to say farewell. Please think of me always when looking up at the moon." The princess took off her shining coat and gave it to him as a gift. She also left a letter for the emperor along with a small bottle, and gave them to the old man and asked him to deliver them to the emperor. Then she climbed into the chariot. The chariot began to fly up towards the moon. They all gazed with tears in their eyes as Kaguya disappeared from sight and the moon chariot was gradually lost amongst the fluffy clouds across the sky. Princess Moonlight's letter was carried to the palace. In the letter, she expressed her feelings towards the emperor and explained the reason of her rejection, and the bottle contained a magic liquid of life so that the emperor could live forever. However, the heartbroken emperor did not want to live forever without Kaguya. So, he ordered his men to climb the highest mountain, light a bonfire, and burn Kaguya's letter along with the magic liquid bottle, thus hoping that his last message would reach the moon. The magic liquid got settled in the bottom of the mountain and burned there forever, turning the mountain into a volcano, which today is known as Mount Fuji. They say that the emperor's love for Kaguya will burn forever on Mount Fuji. Let me tell you a fun fact. The word Fuji originally comes from the Japanese word fushi, which means immortality. The Mount Fuji is an active volcano. It is the tallest mountain in Japan. I hope you enjoyed listening to this story. We'll meet you all soon with another exciting story.